Hey everybody, this is Everyday Commentary, and this is a video overview of this knife, the Hinderer XM-18 3-inch. This is a Gen 2 flipper, and it has Latrobe's 20 CV steel, Duratech 20 CV, which is roughly equivalent in its chemistry and makeup to Bowler's M390. I had this knife for about 2 months, month and a half. And in that time, I have done quite a bit of cutting, and I posted a review, and I have to say that despite all the hype for a Hinderer knife, I really do like this knife. This is a good everyday carry knife. It is a good sort of more hard use than a normal everyday carry knife, especially one that I normally carry. And I've been impressed both with its fit and finish, and with its overall design. This is a knife that a lot of people are looking at and trying to get, and unfortunately, because they are not available directly to the public except for very, very small amounts released through dealers, these knives command quite an increase on the secondary market. I think you can get them from Rick if you're a law enforcement, military, or fire, or EMS for about $370, $380, $390. And on the secondary market, I paid $636 for a 3.5 inch, and then I traded it down for this model. So I like the 3.5 inch. It's a great knife, but it was just too big for me. And here's the knife in comparison to another knife lots of people own, which is the Spyderco Delica. And if you look, Delica is a little bit bigger. We're talking, you know, maybe 1/8 of an inch, probably 1/8 of an inch. The Delica is a bit wider in its stance because it has the thumb hole. This is the ZDP 189 Delica. It's not much thicker. If you look there, you can see that the handle scales on the Delica are about the same thickness, and that the pocket clip on the Delica probably stands out just a little bit more. So this is a surprisingly compact knife. Here it is up against the Benchmade Mini Grip. The Benchmade Mini Grip is significantly smaller than the Delica, and as you can see there, it's probably, you know, a 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch taller, and it's also a little bit slimmer in profile than the Delica, and so it's probably exactly the same width as the XM-18. Overall, I really like the knife. You know, a lot of people complain about the flipper. My flipper here on the XM-18 3-inch is perfectly fine. The flipper on the 3.5 inch worked better, but that was just because the blade was a little bigger. The tuning between the two generations didn't seem to have a whole lot to do with it. The more mass, the easier the flipping is going to be, and which is why flipping on small knives is harder. I like the look. It's sort of overbuilt. I like the texture on the handle scales. I also like the polished screws and standoffs. The pocket clip turned out to be much better than I thought it would be. It's got nice tension, but it's not overly tight. It's kind of a little bit wide, and I thought it was going to be something of a paint scraper, and for whatever reason, it's turned out not to be. I like the really industrial look of the Hinderer. I think it looks good. It actually does well in the pocket. Almost all of the edges are chamfered. You can see there's a chamfer there. It's all the way around. You know, the top, the swedge is chamfered. Everything is smooth on this knife except that edge. And that edge is awesome. I actually got this knife from Pawpaw's Knife Shop, and he had put a mirror convex edge on. And I don't know if it's better than the factory edge, but it's better than any edge I've ever used on any knife I've ever owned. So maybe Rick puts a really great edge on it, and he just fixed it a little bit or touched it up. But it seems to me that this is not the knife this is not the edge you would get from the factory, and this edge is ridiculous. It is incredibly stable and incredibly sharp. Lots of people complain about the choil. I don't really have a problem with the choil. My finger fits in there nice and fine. It also works in the regular forward grip, and it works really well in the reverse grip. I don't have any real use for a reverse grip, but just nice to know you can do that. I do not like the fact that the pivot screw requires special tools to take apart. You can tighten it with a flathead, but in order to take it apart completely, you have to have the special armor's tool. Again, it seems silly to me to have a tool that you can't fix yourself. Like if I'm the kind of person that goes out and buys a knife like this, and the kind of person that likes to tinker, I do not like the fact that I have to have a special proprietary driver to open this up. Strider does this. Lots of companies do it, and it's stupid. It's annoying. Chris Reeve, you know, sort of the progenitor of the high-end production knife, semi-custom knife, he doesn't do that, and he's been making his knives for 25 years, so maybe there's a reason why. This is just sort of like a money grab. If you want to have a proprietary fasteners, then you better include that device with the package. Lanyard hole I never used. I hate lanyards, but it's there, and it looks like it's big enough to accept 550 paracord. I have been very pleased with the performance of the Duratech 20 CV steel, and I have been very pleased with the performance of this knife. There is a review up on my webpage, Everyday Commentary. It'll be in the show notes or in the description below, and there's a shootout coming from between this knife, the Sebenza 21 small, and the Shredder PT.